This is an important Reddit post that I saw, but it says, "Dear female residents, stop taking shit from people. You worked too damn hard to get where you are. Signed, someone who doesn't take a shit and is still waiting for nurses to make my life hell." While the sentiment I think is a little aggressive because it's putting the blame on female residents for some reason. Like, it's not the female residents' fault that they have to take shit from people. It's kind of the whole system and just gender like inequalities that exist at baseline, right? This is something that I just wanted to comment on because I've seen it so much throughout residency so far, probably through medical school too. But the way that male residents are treated compared to female residents is like a different world completely. It's vastly different. And this is both true of nurses and other, staff members or anybody in the hospital, as well as patients. A lot of our female residents have to go to the VA, and they are treated way differently at the VA than any male resident would be treated there. So I wanted to just make this quick video to say, for all the female residents out there, I feel for you. And I have personally observed how you guys have to go through way more BS than we do, and a lot more like cattiness, like where people will be like questioning your decision making a lot, or just doing really kind of like rude things that they wouldn't do if it was like me there. Like I have an advantage of being like a tall guy, and I feel like that gives me an advantage, right? So females, you guys have to go through some shit sometimes. This person says, "If only it were that easy. As a female, I had to walk around on eggshells 24/7. The more I stood up for myself, the more retaliation I got. Most amount of calls, most amount of weekend calls, etc. Other women can be the worst offenders, especially when they feel inferior in some way. And as much as nurses love to deny it, nursing definitely attracts a personality. That meme, shout out to all the mean girls in high school. How's nursing? 100% true. Biggest egos I've seen aren't the neurosurgeons, it's the nurses." Now, I don't want to blame the nurses either, because I know the nursing culture can also be very, very difficult, and there's a lot of drama that nurses can go through. And I've seen many situations where nurses had to take a bunch of shiz from like the doctors, and were like yelled at, or like everything's just toxic. We need to have less toxic perspectives and less toxic attitudes in the workplace. That's the big thing. And in general, like, people need to be treating people more nicely and just stop being so disrespectful to people. And when nurses are mistreated, it's usually male doctor who gets no repercussions, but you better believe the female doctors are going to have it even harder that week, etc. It's a lose-lose situation, to be honest. You just learn to understand that's going to be your daily life. Be nice. Always say please and thank you. 100% will never be enough. Perfection will never be enough. You'll never be enough, ever. And you just know you'll watch males fail upwards. Try your best not to get it to you. So, yeah, I agree. I totally feel like in any situation in life, our approach should be nice, always say please and thank you. Whenever I'm working with the nurses or any other resident, whether they're an intern or a medical student or anything, you just got to treat them with respect and be nice to them, right? Even if they're doing a bad job, or you think they're not doing something correctly, like, they're different. They're a human being. You have to separate the human being that you're going to treat with respect versus, maybe they didn't do something correctly, and you have to let them know that, right? But you can't just be like displacing your frustrations onto other people because you have nobody else to take it out on. This person says, "Or perhaps male co-residents / attendings could be better coworkers and support their female counterparts who are already being abused on the regular and stand up for them." I agree with this. There was this one situation where I was on MICU nights as an intern, and it was me and this anesthesia resident who was a female, and we were just standing around. We used this like workstation that was just like in the middle of nowhere. Nobody was using it, and then somebody just comes up and just like grabs it out of her hands, like, I'm using that like computer or something. And there was like 10 open computers. There was nobody else using computers there, and that was a situation where I was like, I feel like I should have said something. And I felt, afterwards, I kind of talked to her about it, and I was like, I saw what happened. Like, that was like really like inappropriate. And I basically commiserated with her. So hopefully that was lending some support. But I do feel like I need to be more vocal about those situations where it's like, why did you just like steal the one workstation that she was using, even though there's 10 that are open, and you just did it in such a rude manner? It did not make sense. I used to work closely with IM residents overnight while they did cross cover and admitted new patients. The females got a lot more pushback from nurses than males did, and the male hospitalists in my group were the first ones that noticed it, or the ones that first noticed it. So yeah, everybody just be nicer to each other, especially to female nurses and female doctors and, anybody who is in a role where people just tend to be more rude to them in general, because you have to understand how much more crap they have to go through in life and in the workplace. And I can just imagine how much that would build up over time. So thank you guys for putting up with all of that. Sorry you had to go through that. And I hope you guys, we can change the culture for the better in the future. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and peace.